do like aerial, anything with silks and ropes and liras and stuff like that. They have been doing it for years. They go out to Vegas. I've had the pleasure of performing with them quite a few times, and they're just an amazing group. So I always like to push people to go see even more than just us, because every burlesque show is different. That is something that you will realize very quickly if you see more and more of them. I've also worked with another group here in Houston called the Moonlight Dolls. It's over at a place called Prohibition downtown. They are
excellent shows.
Phenomenal show. I mean, they are the legitimate classic burlesque.
Yeah, and whilst we like to do stuff kind of off the cuff, we kind of just go with the flow of the audience and everything like that. These guys have a very set plan, and it's so well done.
It's great. They work really hard at it. I mean, they're in there 5 days a week rehearsing, and it's great. But they have a great show. But it's very classic burlesque. I'm talking about the big feather boas and the fans, and they have singers. It's very slow. They don't do a lot of upbeat stuff, but it's a beautiful show. Then you go to the dames, and they're all over the place. They do a lot of theme shows. So they did Lord of the Rings here in Comicpalooza, and that was amazing.
Pac-Man's Revenge.
Yes.
It was so much fun.
They've done all sorts of, and they do great. They're amazing, good group. And there are other ones out there. Not all of them are great, but I do suggest trying to reach out and see them. Just because, like I said, they're all different. They're all unique. Our show is very, very nerdy. I think that's just because, we're all nerds at heart. I sit at home, I play video games, I read manga, and I watch anime all day when I'm not working or doing some shows like this. So, and I make sure that every performer that I have in my troupe has the same passions I do. Now, we all like our own. We all like our own individual types of things, but everyone here is a nerd. And, we got to band together in order to go anywhere. So, it's always better when you go in a group. But, we try to bring what we like to the stage. Last night, hey, there's Pikachu. Come on, Pikachu.
Pikachu!
Everybody's been asked about you.
Yeah.
Might as well come on up.
So we have, we try to bring our favorite characters to life. That's kind of what it's all about. And it is also about taking the clothes off. Which is fun,
It's fun to watch too.
It is a little and that's why I have to give it up for all the performers, because it takes guts to get out there.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter your height, your size, the color of your skin, or anything. I believe in equality, and I believe in being able to be who you are.
And express yourself. Being able to express yourself as a performer.
100%. Like this girl right here, Bella. When I saw her from another troupe. I said this last night. I found her in another group, and I had to snipe her away.
Get me out of this place.
I had to.
Honestly, though.
There's an energy there that is just amazing, and it's really awesome to see everyone's unique personality. Not one of my performers is like the other. We all get along really well, luckily. I strive for no drama, and even when there is drama, we try to break it up really quickly. But we strive for absolutely no drama, and I'm very lucky that all of my performers are really good at that too. So, but they're all so unique. We've got the bodybuilder over here. That's just like, listen. Oh, wait. I don't know, right? It puts me to shame every day. We're sitting there doing push-ups right before the show, and I'm just like, I'm at 35, and I'm like huffing and puffing, and I'm like, and he's just like, but he pushes us, and it's good. And we brought out the pole last night, and a couple of our performers do take classes and things like that, and so we like to incorporate little things here and there. But that's what's so great is I've been able to, and the way I did it is by coming to conventions and finding people like you that are excited about being unique, and I just convince you to get up on stage.
Very convincing.
On stage.
One of our other Ken dolls, he's out of town right now at something else, but the very first time I got him up on stage, it was a complete, I conned him into it. I was like, hey bro, I need a ride. And he gave me a ride to our show. And then I was like, hey man, can you help us set up these curtains real quick for our backstage? He was like, yeah, I'll do that, no worries. And then I get on the mic, and we're going through the stage, and I'm like, all right man, just chill back here, it's all good. You get backstage access today. He's like, oh dude, this is awesome, yeah, let's do this. He's chilling back there about halfway through the show. I'm like, all right, we're bringing out someone new today. And then I had to get two of my other Ken dolls to start pushing him out there. And it wasn't even in stripper underwear. I'm talking about the biggest boxers that you could have imagined. They were not flattering at all. And, but I mean, and the moment I got him out there, though, he opened up, you know, and he's stuck with us ever since. And he's been with us for like 3 years now. And he's amazing. But I've done that to just about everyone that I have in my troupe. Because it's not easy. It really isn't. But the moment that you get to do it, there is something about being able to express yourself that freely. I'm definitely not a nudist at all. I like clothes. Surprisingly, I sleep in clothes. But there's just something about being free and being able to share an experience with someone. Let alone 600 people that we had last night. You know, that's why we do this, is because it's not just about us getting to go up there and getting cheered from, and yeah, we get to put on a show. I believe that everyone in the universe is connected in some way or another, and most of the time we're drifting alone. We're in our own heads. We go home, we're driving in our cars. You're alone. But in that hour and a half of our show, we create an experience with each and every one of you. We connect on a level that I believe is what brings us all together to come to these conventions in the first place. It's to be able to get experiences like that with like-minded individuals. And without the audience, we are nothing. So, you guys are really most of the battle. So, but
you were great last night.
Oh, phenomenal.
So great.
Oh, God. I've had some good shows, but the audience is half the battle. If we don't have an audience that's not entertaining as well as us being entertaining, it becomes just a whole bunch of naked people on stage. That's good, but there's the internet for that. I mean, we can all hop on to some internet and see some stuff like that. So, that's not good. That's why, all right. Yeah, that's what happens. So, let's throw some questions there. We've gone through that awkwardness. Yes.
Okay, so I really enjoyed your first performance last night.
Yes.
I was just curious about your thought process on it, and also why you couldn't find an excuse for Zach to strip and Eric. I feel like it needs one, but maybe that's a personal thing. But otherwise, I'm really curious about your thought process on it, why you picked that song and stuff.
I did not quite hear that. What was that?
I'm sorry.
The thought process on the Final Fantasy story to the song.
Okay, so the reason I did that is, I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I've played almost every single game, and Cloud has always been the idea of being a loner like that and just feeling alone. I have felt like that so many times, and I've always had a group of people around me. But there are some times when I just feel like I'm alone. And so I connect with Cloud on that level. And last night, so one of my performers, okay, so let's give you a little insight on this real quick. That song, The Zombie by Bad Wolf, I found out about that song, 48 hours before the convention?
Yeah. He's calling me the night before going, hey, I got a really cool idea.
I got an idea!
I'm like, yeah, let's hear it. It's like, well, I just heard this song, I need you and my mom involved. Like, what?
So one of my other performers, Nat, she heard the song and she brought it up to me. And Caitlin, sorry.
It's a shit right kid.
I just shot myself in the foot. I do that a lot. So she brought this song up to me, and I was actually planning on doing For Your Entertainment. It's like generally a go-to for me. I enjoy it. It has high energy. But when I heard this song, and I've been working on this fusion sword, and it was my first foam project I've ever worked on, and I was really proud of it. It needs some work, but I was really proud of it for my first foam project. And when I heard the song, and after watching Final Fantasy Advent, you see all the memories of Aerith and Zack, continuously popping through his brain, and it should have been a little bit more planned, but basically 48 hours.
When this guy gets on stage, he just kind of does his thing.
Yeah, I have gone through choreography classes. I have taught choreography. I have done music videos, but I suck at it. I just completely I space. The moment I get on that stage, everything I have planned out the window.
Well, you.
And it sucks because I'll plan some really good stuff.
He even told us what the plan should have been, and he didn't do it. He didn't do it himself. I'm like, well,
but that happens a lot, and it's actually kind of good. Like at our last convention at San Japan, we did a show, and my song, I was supposed to do a song, and it wasn't even the right song, and I didn't hear it. So I just kept going and did the same routine I was going to do for the other song. It was a different song, but
it worked out really
it did,
well.
it worked out.
It actually worked better than the.
But yeah,
and to answer your question, why Zach didn't get naked.
I can't help it.
that outfit is really hard.
Well, number one, yeah, the outfit was kind of hard to get out of, and I couldn't take the shirt off with that wig on. There was no way it was happening.
It would have.
So you just I went more accurate than for sugar purposes for Zach. Or else I would have put a zipper on it and stuff. But yeah, that was really the whole reason why I didn't get.
Well, it was one of my favorite performances of the night, so everything you did
Really?
was perfect.
Well, there you go.
You in 48 hours.
I know I should have done better.
No, I don't know if I loved it. Absolutely, it dropped me in immediately.
All right, do we have another questions? Any other questions? Yes.
So why don't you try to do why don't you try to put it for 3.5 hours? That way.
Okay, hold on a second. I want to see you dance for 3.5 hours.
I'm telling you, last night we were right at an hour. We had an hour and 15.
I'm sweating just sitting here.
I know.
That's where you pull out the.
That's part of the reason why.
I'm hiding now.
So we were supposed to have an hour and a half block, but the performance before us, it was an improv show, which they were amazing. But
That was awesome.
they kept going a little past their block, so we got a shortened time, and by George R. Brown standards, everyone had to be out of the building by midnight, even performer. We were rushed out already.
Yeah, we ran.
So, but we've been in talks with the coordinators for next year, and we're at least probably going to get a 2-hour block. Because like I said, we had at least 7 to 8 performances, individual performances that y'all didn't get to see, as well as then more group. Most of my shows have a lot of crowd participation. I like to get at least 3 or 4 songs in with the audience because, if you saw our show last night, hundreds of volunteers, and it's really hard to grab everyone up on stage. And it's hard to get everyone on stage, and I really like to, that's what makes our show unique, is there are a lot of burlesque shows out there, but the one thing that sets us apart that I strive for is the crowd. I like to get into that crowd. I like to bring that crowd up there. And, so we try to involve as much as we can. Last night we were just so short on time that we weren't able to. But we have been in talks with them, and next year we will have a longer show.
Maybe put it for say 2.5 hours. That way they're.
We actually might get a full show.
We might actually get a chance to do it, but yeah, they're also supposed to apparently keep our last hour of our block, the book before our block, empty as well. That way we can see people earlier. That way we start at our time instead of flooding people in at our start time.
Yeah, that was honestly a big time waster too, because we had a lot of people wanting to funnel in, and it was right after, and then the improv took overtime.
Y'all didn't see the line.
was amazing.
Yeah, it was
No,
great.
we got
Yeah, that was great. We packed the house out at the very beginning. That was awesome. So,
We appreciate it.
yeah, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
I
thank you.
honestly didn't know what to expect today. Whenever I was like, either they're still at home drunk, show up.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, it was
Thanks.
great.
Who wants this Pikachu take off?
Yes.
Oh! Awkward.
We'll hold you to that.
Would they also be able to keep a full-time job or this?
Oh yeah, 100%. All of us.
Yeah, every single
Oh, yeah,
one of
we
us have
all-
full-time
All
jobs.
of us has full-time
Yeah,
jobs.
this isn't the only.
This
we did
is
for
fun.
Yeah, this is.
I have a
Yeah.
job and I do school too. I'm
Yeah.
So like,
so-
what, Bella? What do you do for a living?
I'm a Starbucks barista.
Exactly.
Shift manager.
And
So,
She's an ocean.
Safety chairs person for
Yeah.
veterinary.
Ken?
yeah.
I own a stone company in the Ken Dolls, as well as I do all sorts of side work. So I set up events is what that's how I started in all this. Is I build events. I'm the one that puts up all the lights.
Yeah,
So-
I'm going over One Take Stunts, and I'm an IT administrator for like several different companies around Texas and the United States.
Yeah. So each and every one of our performers has regular full-time job. Now, what does separate us from a lot of these other troops too is that yes, we do this for fun, but we also this is a business. Like we aren't just doing this as a hobby. We get invited from cons to be out and things like that. And that's what's great about it is we can make this into a business and we can make money off of it, which is nice. Because this is what we want to do. I've been very fortunate. I have an agent that has sent us out and gotten us some really good stuff, and we've been able to get into movies lately. We're on Netflix now. We got to go out and do a Hollywood movie in Mexico. I mean, we've gotten to do a lot of really awesome things. And so it's just, and each individual person, as they succeed, it pushes the group forward as well. So when I do something big, it does really good for the group. And when he does something big, it pushes the group forward, as well as the ladies. Like every ounce of us pushed for the group to go forward. And like I said, this company started as something completely different than what it is. It was just a male stripping group, and then I incorporated females and so on and so forth. But we are in the process of revamping our Facebook page, our website, and everything like that, which will all be done within the next month or so. But we're always looking for recruits, and the great thing about what we're doing, especially on the schedule that we're doing it, is that we do a lot of cons, which are on the weekends, or something like that. They're easy to get to. It's also, burlesque is a nighttime thing. So as long as you don't have a nighttime job necessarily, you don't take your clothes off during the day very often. So we only do that for a couple of events like Pride and things like that.
Big numbers will have us out there.
Yeah, numbers will have us out there around that time
The
too.
Easter bunny thing.
Yeah, bunnies on the bayou.
Bunnies on the bayou.
We do a lot of events. We have another burlesque show coming out in June. It's going to be at a place called Lava downtown. We also perform at Rich's nightclub. We do pageants and all sorts of fun things. So San Japan's going to be in September or something. So we're always looking for recruits, and what we'll do is we'll put them aside and we'll train them for a couple of weeks. It doesn't take much. We just work with you. We see where you're at, and we figure out what you want to do. Because we have people that can get on a pole, and then we have people that can't get on a pole. But it doesn't make them any better or worse. Everyone's unique. So we try to make it as different as possible. So we're always looking for new people. You can hit us on our social media. We'll do a class or two in the next, throughout the summer. We're going to be holding classes as well, where we'll be able to be. Yes, and we do have cards. For anyone that wants to apply, you can hit us up. And we'll do classes. We'll do like a basic rhythm class. I am a white boy with no rhythm. So I do not teach that class necessarily. Like I said, I'm just not. That's why I stay on the mic. We will do things like that. And if you're interested in learning pole and aerial and things like that, I do aerial. So I have a couple of people on my team that teach. And we're all about just trying to make you who you want to be. So yeah, always looking for people. And yeah, you can definitely have a full-time job until it gets a little bit busy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next, yes.
Okay, you guys have been doing this for quite a while. What are some of your most memorable mishaps you've had?
Oh, you want the nitty gritty?
Oh, you want me to share?
Everybody.
Okay, alright, here we go. Yeah, no, Bella's got one.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Bella's
so
got one from.
Friday night,
This is from just this weekend.
I was sliding off the stage and misjudged the distance, and I fell onto my knees on the front floor, and I have like this huge gash on my knee, and my toe is broken now. So I danced last night with that. So that's fun.
That's what you're
It's
supposed to
one of
call.
the most memorable ones.
That's what you call dead occasion.
Yeah, she was.
And nobody even noticed you didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, right.
Which I'm really glad because I was like, oh shit, everybody heard like gasped, and then I was like, flip hair out and go.
Good recovery.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What do you got?
That's pretty straight to mind. Yeah.
Last year.
Yes.
After 2/3 of my song last year, it was my first performance.
Without taking off any clothes.
I laughed into my friends. I got up and I'm like, I am fully clothed. I got my shirt off, I think, maybe my skirt, and then my song ended, and that was that.
That was it. Going off stage. There you go. We've had. I mean, like, there's always mishaps.
Did y'all notice last night during Nat's performance? You noticed the song just went like that.
Yes.
She was still like doing her thing.
Yeah.
Well, Nat forgot how long the song went and took a little bit more time to take off her clothes than usual. So yeah, she was like, okay, let's go ahead and restart the song here.
Yeah, she used a longer version. And it just
is
went
that
with
what-
it,
yeah.
Yeah, so like last night we had a couple of mishaps with our audio issues. We were missing music and also like flash drives all of a sudden went missing. So yeah, we had a little, most of it flying on the pan of our seats right there. I mean, and Friday's show, for instance, I mean, we realized we had a show about an hour and a half before the show.
Yeah.
So
We had no clue.
we had no
I saw it on
costumes.
the
We had
schedule, and I was
no
like, wait, what?
music. So it was an improv show. Friday's show was completely improv.
Wow.
We prepared for one show, and we ended up with two. So
I ran back home, got some more
exactly. So it worked out. But I mean, I think one of the most memorable things that I've had that was a mistake, and it wasn't even a mistake. It was as an MC and as the host of the show. My job is to make sure that the audience stays as energetic and happy as possible for my performers, right? My job is to make sure that there is one hell of a cheer for every single one of my performers. And you know, I've been doing this for a few years, and it's taken me a few years to get to the point where I'm at right now, even with my mishaps that I have. It's taken me this long to get here. And I've lost a show one time. It was actually what? San Japan? Yeah, San Japan a few years back. I had a haggler in the audience that heckler. Yeah.
A haggler is
Not a
Italian language.
But
I think it's the wrong direction.
he was screaming out, "Cosplay is not consent." And I mean, we all know this.
Yeah.
And we're all consenting when we walk in that door. It's like,
have a sign too?
yeah, he had like a group of 4 people with him, and they were just screaming and screaming and screaming to the point like they were going over our music. And it was before I had the ability to kick people out of my show, and I didn't have that authority yet. Now I do, which is good. So, yeah, and basically what happened was I hadn't steered the audience in the right direction yet, and so at the moment we had one little mishap, it was a train wreck. I mean, it still ended well. Everyone got to perform. It was still a good show, and we got invited back, and we have put on amazing shows ever since. But really, I mean, there are mishaps on every show. I can promise you, like, no matter how much you prepare and you get ready for something,
You are never prepared.
you are never prepared enough. There's always going to be something that happens, and you just got to roll with the punches. And I'm very thankful that all of my people are experienced enough that when you roll with the punches, it looks like nothing happened. That's the idea. We know where we messed up, but hopefully you guys never find out, and that's our goal. So, you know, and as long as y'all don't know that it's a good show in my eyes. So, you know, but yes, so that's a good one. I actually haven't gotten that one before, so thank you. Yes.
was gonna ask if you guys are based out of Houston.
We are. We're based right here in Houston right now. So
Right now.
yeah, for right now at least. We do a lot of traveling though. We go where we're called, and so that's always nice. But yes, next question. Yes.
What made you decide to do this with Mom?
He learned everything from Mom.
My mama taught me everything I know. So my mom was a dancer when she was young, and I was a paramedic at the time, and
Do you use your uniform on stage?
You don't use anything for work.
Now I have a firefighter outfit I'll use as well, but so I was a paramedic at the time, and I had a group of they're on a lot of male paramedics, and so we were in this thing, and my mom was like, basically Magic Mike was coming out, and
Kind of liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was good. And I asked my mom, I was like, hey, do you think I can do this? And she goes, I think so, why not? So get this, I was like, all right, I'm gonna start being a stripper. So I found a guy who is a trainer, and he teaches you how to dance and how to strip. And I went through about 6 weeks of 3 or 4 days a week, multiple hours at this place, training over and over. And at the end of the 6 weeks, the guy looks at me and he goes, you're never gonna be a dancer. You just don't have it in you, you don't have the rhythm, you don't have the personality, you're just never gonna make it. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, well, is there any way you can like throw me to the sharks, let me try at least, like give me the opportunity. And he goes, well, there's an amateur strip night at one of these bars that I know of. You don't have to have any, prior experience, you just go in, sign up, and you can do it. Well, I was like, all right. And he was like, but I'm not going to represent you. You're going to have to go in by yourself. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Just tell me what to wear.
Thanks for the confidence.
He sends me in, and and it was actually here in Houston, and I went in, and my very first night I ever did it, I took first place.
Yes!
And the guy was in the audience, right? And so I'm up on stage, and I'm just like,
Right here, buddy!
and I haven't spoken to him since. And I was just like, and from that moment, I realized, I've always been a performer. I worked at Disney World in Orlando, and they make you a performer deep down in your soul, and ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be a performer. And so when I started the stripping, that's where it went downhill from there. That was the tip of the iceberg, and it was just like, if I'm gonna go all the way. And after about 2 years of stripping, I was like, I want more, and that's when this came around. So, but yeah, it all started with my mom. She taught me, and after that 6 weeks of training with that guy, I was like, he knows nothing. And I went to my mom, I was like, what she got? She got a pole, and she just started having me spin on that pole, and then it was a train wreck ever since. And I've been very fortunate. My mom's a little hoot. She worked at Adam and Eve. It's a sex store down here in Houston. And
we all know what Adam and Eve is.
Yeah, that's the pole we use.
That's
actually.
where we got
it's from Adam and Eve. So they sponsored us. We got sponsored by DRK, a lighting company, and we've been very fortunate. But my mom got me my very first sponsor, which was Adam and Eve, which was the one that actually got me into modeling and has gotten me to work with some really big stars, and they were my step in the door. And so and they wanted to have more of a performance and not just have boys take their clothes off. And so that's where it all started. And my mom has been there every step of the way. So I couldn't just leave her behind when we started doing this, Plus, I have to hear it when I go home. Yeah, exactly. And she does every show.
My mom does too. She's back there.
And so, like last night and Friday was the very first time I've ever actually said that this was my mother. Most of the time, I'm like, God, just look away. But she really is my biggest fan, and she comes with me at every show, as does Bella's mother. Our family is very important to us. And, this troupe is a family.
Yeah, honestly, ever since I've been involved, and I haven't been involved all that long, honestly. I started out, Ken came up to me and said, hey, you look good naked, you want to dance? That's really how it started. Like, I saw them again, because Ken and I have been friends for several years.
Yeah.
And I saw him again at Comicpalooza a few years back, and he's like, dude, you really need to get involved in this. I'm like, fine. When's the first show? And then we went to San Japan and just had a great time. But this thing's really become a family. And that's the general consensus with every person who we bring in. Just becomes another family member.
We go out to eat together. We go out and go to parties together. We'll go out rock climbing and camping together. You know, like we really are a group. But you have to be in this kind of situation. We have to be comfortable with everyone. I mean, we do back behind that screen that we're back there. I mean, we're all butt ass. I mean, no, hold on. I'm gonna be a little shy trying to stick my underwear on. You just got to do it, and so you got to be really comfortable. I mean, we know each other, you know, and it I was gonna say the front to back, but then it started getting a little weird. I started thinking about it as I was saying it.
It wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, but we do. I know where that little mole is on the inside. I mean, but it does. We all work really well together. So we got to be a family, and the best way to have family is to have family involved.
Absolutely.
All right, next question. Yes, Bree.
Hey.
Hi.
I just wanted to say, watching you guys last night, you guys did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And obviously, like I've done not stripping, but I've been on stage before. So like I kind of know how like sometimes there's little like costume mishaps and
Oh, sure.
you know, you gotta do whatever. Has there ever been a character that you guys were like, yeah, this seems easy enough, and then you start to do it and you're like, oh shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my
I
God.
could not get out of that garter belt, guys.
It worked so well because it went with the characters.
Yeah,
It was just off stage. I'm like, that was amazing. You're like, I can't get this off. I'm like, whoa.
That happened.
I had a freaking skirt from, which show was I doing? I think it was Delta H with another troupe. But anyways, it took forever to get off, and I ended up with the skirt still on, my panties like half off, and my bra wouldn't unclasp either. So I was like, I'm done.
Let's see here. San Japan last year, I was Bond from Seven Deadly Sins, which is a completely red leather outfit. And for anyone that wears leather does not come off, especially when you're sweating. And I have these skin-tight leather pants and this skin-tight leather jacket that I sewed and put together. And
then I painted.
And I painted it red on top of that.
Spray paint.
So halfway.
Oh, the Harley.
Yeah, so we painted this one, and halfway through the show, the paint's just chipping off. And now all of a sudden, it's a half white, half red jacket and pants. My crotch is all white. The paint was just gone. It was just a crotch. And the knees were gone because I slide on my knees a lot, and they were just white. And I couldn't get my pants off. So I'm sitting here hopping on one leg, and I feel Woody, who's by the DJ booth, and I'm like, get over here! So he comes running over, he grabs my leg, and I lay on the floor, and he's like, it was like the sexiest thing you've ever seen. Oh, yeah! Beautiful. I did not put those pants back on for the rest of the night. It was done. I couldn't. So literally in like 2 pieces. Yeah, I was gonna wear them this year, and they're in the trash. They don't exist anymore. But yes, all the time, every show, I swear we have at least one. Oh yeah, it was. Oh man, rough. And outfits, the problem is with certain outfits you layer. Burlesque. It's not just stripping. We don't just take our clothes off. You want it to be either a story arc, or you want it to last the whole song. It's really hard to do things when you're naked. There's only so many dance moves you can do when you're naked that don't look ridiculous. Because it does. It looks ridiculous most of the time. So we try to, you want as many layers as possible to take off. That way you can fill up most of the song.
Also, it also adds to the teeth.
Yeah, you want it. It's all about sensuality, not just sexuality. It's about the senses. You want to bring out everything.
And make you guys want it.
Yeah.
You want to see them take
You don't just want to be like, oh, here it is, over.
Because they hear the Girls Gone Wild video.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever noticed the girls. grabbing their boobs and like looking down and hopping to the back, and then coming back up and yeah, we're trying to make sure our pasties are still there.
What's that?
They fall off.
That's
21 and up.
There's a reason we got to be above age, because that just, it happens, and luckily, our Lulu Love, she stuck with it and it powered through it. It was awesome, but it happens all the time. And the best thing to do is just keep going. Yeah, just keep going, because the moment you stop is really when you'll lose the audience, and you lose the dream, you lose the fantasy all of a sudden. You want to maintain that through the process.
Yeah, you gotta keep that essence of theater.
So when your pants can't come off, you gotta make a joke out of it. When your pasty falls up, you just gotta be like, oh. So it just varies, but yes, all the time.
So the better question would have been, was there ever a show when there wasn't a mishap?
Right now, I can tell you right now, no. Yes.
I don't think so.
What was the worst mishap you ever had?
I think yours was probably the pants and mishap.
Yeah. Well, no. Okay. We did bunnies on the bayou, and I broke my foot.
Oh.
Yeah. I did break my foot. We were dancing at Bunnies on the Bayou, and I was body painted as a cat. And with really hot pink shorts, it was awesome. But we were dancing in the waterfall at the Worthing Center. And my troupe got out there, and we were performing, and some of the audience members were splashing water at us, and the water got onto the stone, and I just busted down, and I broke my foot. It happens. That was probably one of the bigger.
That's so casually.
It always happens. Don't be scared.
But we were at Comicpalooza one year, and I broke my wrist jumping off of the stage, and I missed my landing, and I used my hand as a brace, and I snapped my wrist. So but those do not happen all the time, and when they do, they're always. It's mostly because I'm the stupid one that's like, let me jump off the stage. See, you've been here too long. That's the problem. You're gonna start following in my footsteps. Enough broken bones. So that would probably be one of them. Broken bones suck.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you said you did Bond from Seven Deadly, but what were some of the other anime ones that you did?
Oh, let's see here.
We've done Goku.
We've done Goku, Vegeta, Gohan.
Yeah, Vegeta.
We've done
Dance in the Vampire.
Dance in the Vampire Bond.
All anime characters.
Yeah, I think you Spirited Away.
I did No Face from Spirited Away.
Yeah,
I did
awesome.
Urza from Fairy Tale. The one that I didn't get to do last night was Kaide from Shuffle. I did Nellie L. I did actually Nell into Nellie L. So I stripped out of Nell. And, anyways, that was fun.
Misa Misa. We did Misa Misa. What else? God, there's a lot of them.
The rabbit in the car.
Nah, that was Zootopia. That was Zootopia. Not an anime.
Animated.
Animated though.
Pikachu.
We have Pikachu. One of our other one does Charmander or Charizard. She has a Charizard cosplay. That's pretty awesome. But we are really between the stunt company and then this troupe, as well as all of our full-time jobs. We have been fortunate that here in the last about year and a half we've blown up, and that's been good. But now we're getting to the point where we're doing more. She has a really awesome lightning that she has that she just finished up. I just did my cloud. We made that this week, and he made his Zach this week. But we've got Bond. We're gonna do a whole Seven Deadly Sins troupe as well. I want to get everyone in the troupe doing it. I'll probably end up being Meliodas at that point because well, no, you're shorter.
Yep.
You are shorter. Longer hair. Yeah. We're somebody. I don't know.
Expectations.
Right? There you go. But we're always, and we also take, when we do a show, we get a lot of people that message us on our Facebook and on our email and stuff that ask for specific characters for a show. And we have no problem at all adding those in. We like to let the audience choose a lot.
What gluttony would you use? Because it comes in two forms, like the bigger one and the tiny one.
That's a good question.
Totally gotta be.
Bigger's always better.
But yeah, but probably that. Honestly, because but knowing us, we'll have 2 sets of every outfit. Mostly because you have to have a stripping version. I've learned now never to do a Bond with leather pants without snaps. So now all my pants have snaps normally. So, which is very important. Hello.
Yay!
It's okay.
All right. What other questions we got?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I saw you beat Nathan Drake.
Yeah, Nathan Drake. He's seriously one of my favorite video game characters.
Yeah,
ever.
I looked really good.
Oh,
Dante, we got a Dante.
Yeah, we got Dante.
I do a Dante.
Let's see here.
Awesome.
Ryu. I do Ryu from Street
Yeah.
Fighter.
Yeah, I do Ken.
Yeah,
That's Street Fighter.
Cool. I just got stupid. Of course, Zach and Cloud, and
Lightning,
Eric, Lightning,
Yuna,
Yuffie.
Aerith. We have Barrett. We had a Skyrim set that we're doing. We're working on How to Train Your Dragon at the moment as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good reaction. Yeah. Right? Yeah. They're basic rules.
People in the audience going. Sure.
Everybody loves a toothless.
Exactly, right? And I'm actually building a giant toothless that we can ride. So I think that.
I insist on it.
But that's one of our next ones that we're working on is training.
I know where you were going. That's a bad place.
Yeah, right? We gotta ride that pony. Alright, next question. Yes.
What's the most memorable audience participation experience y'all had?
Last night.
Yes.
Y'all phenomenal. Like honestly, and don't get me wrong, Sam Japan, we had a little over 1,000 people in our audience. And I mean they screamed our names the whole night. And it was amazing. But the energy that we had last night, and it never stopped. There was no dull moment with you guys. Like, and that blew me away.
You guys were the best.
Y'all were amazing, and like the people that we've been able to bring on stage for the last 2 shows between Friday and today. I mean, we
Got into it.
yeah, dude, like
You were like, get on top of me.
no hesitation.
Okay then, sir.
When he raked his claws
we
against
even
you.
brought in volunteers from Comicpalooza on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I talked to him. He's actually wants to join up next year. Okay, get a taste. One more.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're Pringles.
One of them.
Gotta have this all.
But we have a couple of fans that have Big Tom Blonde dude. Yeah. And we have fans that have come out to almost every single show. We had one last night. He was the Doctor Strange. That's his name. And I love giving shout outs to all of our fans. And I try to get to know all of you as close as I can. There's a lot, but I try to get to know each and every one of you. And he's been out to every single show. And honestly, I've told him at every single show, when it comes to volunteers, I'm going to come up and bring you. And I feel really bad because most of the time I either don't choose the volunteers or I can't see. Because when you're on that stage, it's really hard to see. You see lights. We're walking to a tunnel, okay? And this Saturday show, I was able to finally get him up there. And I want to do that to everyone. The goal is, that's why I say we like to do multiple crowd interaction shows, because we want to bring up as many people as possible. But really, honestly, last night was the most, we all went home and we're just ecstatic. We were outside waiting on the car to get here. We were just like giggly and
It was
like,
awesome. We couldn't stop talking about y'all, honestly.
it was 4:30 in the morning and we're still like reviewing footage and being like, do you hear that audience? Oh my God! So yeah, no, last night, phenomenal, guys.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Actually, not a question, it's just a comment, because the big tall blonde dude is actually my team member, and if y'all had more time last night, he did want to get back up there.
That's how we like it, though, you know. And the goal is every time we do this. I mean, we've had people come to multiple shows that have been volunteers, and at our next show, they raise their hand because they want to get up there. Because every time we do it, it's something different. At San Japan, we did a Rick and Morty. Yeah, and we did Rick and Morty for this girl's birthday, and we did that was a really good one. And then Comicpalooza, or at Dallas Band-Aids, there's a whole big thing out there. I mean, like, every time we do it, we change it. It's not the same song, it's not the same performers dancing on them. We don't just dance around in a circle. Like, we try to bring something different every time. So that's the cool thing about it, is you can come to our show again next year, and it will not be the same as it was this year. Every show we do is different. We can do a show next week, and it's going to be completely different.
You might be good.
Right? All right, next question. Yes, back in.
Yes. Okay, first off, you guys are the cutest little burlesque family. Like,
Oh, thank you.
Do you guys have personal favorite characters you like to do? Like always do, or do you have one that you did once? You don't
Like, two of my favorite ones so far has been No Face and Lunette. I love Lunette. That was so much fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I'm a huge fan of Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn. Because I got a wig that I love and it stays on my head no matter what.
Which is hard to find, okay? Especially dancing. Does not happen often. What about you?
I like doing Mina because I hate using wigs. My wig almost fell off last night. That's why I couldn't get on that pole and do things, because it would slide right off. I like using my hair because I am terrible with wigs. So probably Mina.
Raven was good too.
My faves, I started off with Nightcrawler from X-Men. Yep. And that's what really gave me a lot of attention. And then I did Kazuya Mishima from Tekken, and I love doing Kazuya. Because he's not only is it easy, but it's really, you go around with your shirt off all day, but everybody recognizes it immediately. Like, as soon as you see Kazuya, you're like, that's awesome. Kazuya. And yeah, those are absolutely my favorites.
I actually got to say Bond, though. From 9. I can't get it off, but it is one of my favorite cosplays. I love the persona.
It looks so good when you
and I worked really hard on it. It was like my first time doing a real sewing job all by myself, like completely making a full jacket and all that, and I was really proud of it, and now it's dead. But it will come back. It will come back with vengeance. So,
with snaps.
Yeah, with snaps this time instead. But yeah, no, that's got to be mine. I like, as long as the character, although I do Goku all the time. Goku and Gohan. Gohan's more often than Goku. That really was good. We did a really good Goku and Gohan, Vegeta one year, and that was good. But it's just, and I've been a DBZ fan since childhood, so that's like, everyone wants to be the superhero that saves the world.
So what Gohan outfit do you pick?
Oh, I do Teen Gohan.
Gohan?
I only do Teen. I gotta wear all purple, you know, and gotta go Super Saiyan 2 there. And I generally use my own hair for almost everything. We're very fortunate that we're sponsored by a hairdressing company as well called Beauty by Umar downtown Houston. Go see him, he's amazing. But he does all of our hair, and he'll dye my hair blue, white, yellow, whatever color I need it for whatever event I need. And so the only reason we didn't this time is because he was out of town and I'm working on another movie that I cannot have multicolored hair for. So I had to do temporary last night. But we do, we all like to generally do stuff like that. And so, but yeah, my Gohan is probably one of my favorites. I also get like the most, walking through a con is probably my favorite doing in Gohan. Because everyone just starts screaming, and that's what it's all about. Next question.
I guess you put the card in there, but just go up and get it.
Yes, yes. No, yeah, you
I wanted to ask, but I'll just...
Can you make it ready?
Alright, any other questions? Yes.
Just kind of out of curiosity, but like, has there ever been a show or something where maybe you saw someone kind of really down, and then afterwards you really perk them up and they come to like thank you, that really touched you or anything, like a story like that?
Yeah, actually we got a really good, and this one's close to my heart, so yeah, it was at San Japan, and we did a performance, and I can do crossplay and gender bend, I do panels. No, yeah, it was at Comicpalooza. It was here last year, and I do gender bends and crossplay sometimes. I've done drag. I've done the whole 9 yards. I'm a very equality type of person. That's why we do Pride and all those kinds of things. And we did a performance, and this person, this drag queen came up to me the next day and came to our panel, our Q&A panel, and came in drag and came up to me in tears. She had been left by her partner for the weekend and just got broken up with. It was her birthday weekend and none of her friends were there, and she was in tears. But she said that she came out to our show and that it changed her whole outlook on life, and that she wants to strive to be a performer after seeing our show. And that honestly, like, it hit me hard. I was like, I was sitting back there just like, oh, quit talking, like in tears, like, because it's different, like, and that's what we're doing this for. You know, we're not doing it just to get a good yell out of people. You know, we're doing it because there's something about it for each and every one of us. For me, it was to be able to open up to be who I really am. And I think that is how with all my performers, you know, it lets them be who they truly want to be. You know, not every girl wants to be a pretty princess, you know, some want to be a tomboy. And
some want to be a dirty princess.
Yeah.
It's all about
And this allows us to do that. And honestly, that was probably one of the most deep-hearting experiences I've ever had, was when she came up and talked to me. Because it was, I mean, to see that level, to know that we were able to give someone that kind of
joy,
inspiration, and joy is really what's important for us. So yes, that has happened to me one time, and I think that will stay with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and a lot of people everybody takes a different experience out of it. You know, it's what you personally gain from it. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Because you want to feel something new. You want to feel something different. And obviously, it works.
Yeah, it does. Thank you, though. That was a good one. Yes.
How do you handle overzealous people? I know that you get them.
Well, usually, whenever you walk in the door, you're already overzealous.
Now, we've had a couple of rambunctious people that get a little too, like we had a girl at one of our shows who started being a little handsy in the wrong way. And don't get us wrong, when we're up there with our volunteers, man, their hands are going everywhere. But we lead them to that, right? And this one girl got really, really handsy and started going underneath underwear and trying to basically pull down our underwear in front of, and first off, in the state of Texas, you are not allowed to show your penis or your butt. Like, it is illegal for men. So, when that happens, we get in trouble. So, and she was, she was a little handsy, and then she also ended up trying to take off her clothes. Basically called up our handler, and they came rushing up on stage and kind of like threw a blanket and brushed her off to the side, because I mean, it does happen. And when we do, we try to make it flow as normal as possible while trying to still maintain the show.
Just minimize the situation.
Yeah, minimize the problem as much as possible. Yes.
Okay, I have a quick question for Woody.
Oh,
Do you
God.
have a Punisher?
You actually missed it. I did on Friday.
Yeah.
I have a video. I have a video of it that's going on the internet.
I was literally going to do Beast Boy on Friday. I was going to do Beast Boy all day Friday, and then he told me, "Oh, hey, by the way,
we have a show."
I'm like, shit.
Yeah, body paint does not work well when you sweat.
It does not work at all. So I
You understand, right? Yeah.
I actually had a Punisher that I'd done about 5 years ago, my first Comicpalooza that I ever came to. And I went ahead and dusted it off, got it all together and everything like that. I found a few of the fake guns that I had. I was like, this could work. And then I remembered one of the songs that I had watched Ken dance to a while back called him Believer by Imagine Dragons. And it had such a good theme to it, like the living through pain, living through sacrifice, and going through all this stuff, and being on his own and being alone and stuff like that. I was like, perfect! Let's do it! And so I went ahead. You can tell I get a little excited. But so I went ahead and put together a quick routine in my head of how the Punisher would, like, after a day coming home, after punishing, what he'd be like his emotional status and stuff, and how he would feel, and then just sort of added more, like, a dancey, theatrical, dramatic.
It was good.
touch to it. It was being all right. Like for something like quickly off the cuff, it was pretty good. So thank you.
My favorite on Friday.
Why don't you try to get General Assembly that big room?
Oh, we're working on that.
It's over at the
So the problem is that I mean we were very fortunate. They did give us a very good room, very decent room today. This year, because last year's room was like this size maybe without the screen, and probably less chairs. But it wasn't even our troupe, so I just came in helping the troupe. But basically, the reason that we don't get those giant rooms right away is because there have been other burlesque groups that have come to Comicpalooza, and I do not talk bad about any troupe at all, but not all of them can create the show that we create, and they don't all get the audience reaction that we get. So when we come into a convention, we kind of have to step our foot in the door before we can really, we got to prove ourselves. Unfortunately, we are we're really good at what we do and we love it, but there are other troupes out there that have laid a harder path for us to walk on.
Sure.
So, but after this year, from what I've been told from even the head of the event coordinating, we blew it out of the water. They loved it. They've heard enough from you guys that they want us back already.
Your feedback is
yeah,
on.
you are that make us happen. Yeah, so
Ken dolls.
You want us to be here, and the more that you say that you are here to see us is the better and bigger shows that we get.
It's on your hands.
Yeah, we took off our clothes. Now it's your job to talk about it. That's y'all's job.
I mean, not even work or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
So let's move on.
Hey, boss!
I saw.
I saw some little bit of pain.
You know what I feel like we do?
But yeah, so we're working on that. Next year we should have a larger room and
Oh, and by the way, this is actually the very first time where I've had a birthday where I was the one taking my clothes off for everybody else. Oh my God! Don't tell anybody.
Hey, I bring females.
Yes, but that was a fantastic birthday.
Yeah, no, y'all were awesome. The sing along went great, so thank y'all so much for giving him a good birthday, because that was my one job. And it was good. So yeah. Oh man! We're getting way too over this.
Yeah.
All right.
Go
I
down.
can still do it, you guys.
Next question. Oh my goodness.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Sorry. When do you practice?
When do we practice?
In the shower.
Time and location.
There's a lot of times. I'll be honest. I like to look at YouTube a whole lot, so I will follow different routines and dance routines from YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I derive inspiration from a lot of different sources. Like a lot of times, it's like synced up dances that usually get my attention. Like when 2 or 3 people are doing the same thing, that usually gets my attention. I see moves that are like, oh, I want to try that. So I end up doing it. Turns out okay. It's just whenever you get time.
Yeah.
The problem.
We have one guy named Zero that he would literally practice every morning from 5:30 in the morning till about 10:30, and he would sit in the living room playing YouTube videos, and he would just dance for hours.
Do we have any dancers here? Any like pro or amateur dancers or anything like that?
Yeah. Well,
Any theater majors, dance theater people?
keep practicing, please, because we like that. Arts are important.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, and he would do that every morning, and wake us all up.
It's true.
We had fun.
He was a great dancer.
Great dancer. Practiced enough to be a goddamn great dancer. But
We need our sleep.
But yeah, so it really just boils down to when we have free time. I mean, we've done shows where we didn't get to rehearse at all. We get like a last minute call and we have 3 days before a show and we still have to get all the stuff together.
But a lot of us actually train and stuff.
On a weekly
Bella's been
basis,
doing
yeah.
it for I don't know how long.
Started with ballet.
Pole and stuff like that. Ken, you know, he works out. I work out. I do martial arts and stuff like that. So we're all relatively fit in our own areas. So as long as you keep something active, as long as you keep yourself active, to where you're not hyperventilating within 2 minutes from doing a dance. That's because you're doing something.
I know.
Fucking years.
Don't
smoke, guys.
Don't smoke. It's bad for you. And you start sounding like, where's my pants? That's what happens when you smoke. So that's my one vice. I have a really bad vice, and I'm working on it.
No, he's not.
This guy will have 2 nicotine patches and a cigarette in his mouth. I swear.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I need another cigarette.
I know, right?
Before the show, I was like, all right. One of our performers was like, all right, I'm gonna go have a cigarette. And I was like, yeah, I'll go out with you. And Woody's just like, don't dare.
As he's walking out the door, I'm yelling, "Hey, you don't need that. Just let you know."
And I'm like, ah. So I just stood out there and I smelled. I just yeah, like Chandler. You know, my fault, right? I did. So yeah, that happens. But yeah, we practice whenever we can. And it varies. I mean, sometimes we do. Luckily, like when we do a lot of stunts now, and like it's not dancing at all, but fighting. When you do choreography and you're doing like fight choreography, it's like a dance.
Yeah, it's basically.
I mean, the idea of stuntman is to be able to move fluidly, and so that kind of helps us in our dancing. I am a very I'm a big believer in winging it. Mostly just because I suck at planning.
Honestly,
like,
the last night was the most planned.
Yeah,
I've ever seen because we actually had a set list of things that needed.
Like normally, I'm like,
this is cool. Let's do all this all the time.
Normally, I'm like, stretch. Are you ready? Okay, we're going with
2 years.
And then I'm calling out to the DJ. I'm like,
He really does.
This song is next. You know, and that's normally how the shows go. Most of the time, it is.
And that's
literally.
when you see Kim running back and forth from the back.
That's me telling the DJ what song we're doing because it's not the song we planned on doing. And that happens a lot, you know, because sometimes you can't plan for a costume malfunction or something like that. So, you know, we run on very, very winging it. And like I said, for a guy who's supposed to be in charge, if I did not have these people here, I couldn't be in charge. I have a planner that I keep with me at all times, and I'll space. I'll be just gone. Like I said, I found out we had a show an hour before we had a show. I mean, like, without these guys to keep me going, we wouldn't have shows. So, yeah, no, I'm a really bad planner. So winging it is really something that we like doing. You know, so that I like doing. And it's always fun that way. It brings out a different sense, you know, because there is something about like emotion, okay? We're not faking that when we're out there on that stage. That fear that you see in those eyes when we're like, hey, hopefully you're like this. That's real. That's not fake. That's not acting. That's me really growing back behind there crying every time, being like, oh God. So yeah, that's basically it. Any other questions? Yes.
Kind of along those same lines, you mentioned earlier that all of you have full-time jobs. How do you juggle your time between a 40-hour work week and all the practice that you have to do?
Very carefully.
It's a juggle.
You have to plan it.
Yeah, we do have our weeks planned out like weeks ahead, and we know what days we're going to the gym. We know what days we're doing this, and we try to stick to that as close as possible.
We keep each other on track too.
Yeah, sure. Most often I'll get a call from Woody being like, "Yo, going to work out today," or you know, like, and we're all on each other's backs, but we also sleep very little. Like, we don't get a lot of sleep.
This whole weekend has been like, hey, how much can we run off of how little sleep?
Yeah, how much can we run on 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours, 2 hours, no hours.
No hours.
Yeah, on Friday he came up and it was like
3 days.
I haven't slept. I haven't slept at all. I was like, are you kidding me right
Yeah.
now? What's going on? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna set everything up.
Not a minute. Yeah, and then I said
Still like 4 hours later, he hadn't slept. I'm like, are you nuts? We have a show tonight.
So we powered through it.
Yeah,
we didn't know that. Yeah, and so when they were like, yeah, you have a show, I was like, oh no. I went home, I was my eyes in tea bags. I was like, everyone's gonna know. I'm dead. I was sitting in the coldest shower that I've ever had in my life. I just sat there with ice on me, being like, oh my God. So, yeah, no, we all, and the good thing is though, is I have people backing me up, and we all do that for each other. So when I need to go crash, I know that he can take over and do everything else. And Friday's night, you know, I was not nearly at the level that I could have been like I was on Saturday. I was tired, but I was able to have someone there who could back me up and cover me when I was exhausted. So it's a team effort. It really is.
A lot of times it's just fake it till you make it type thing too.
That is our favorite slogan.
We've all
Fake
been
it till you make it.
We've all been there. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Next question. So on the other hand, yes.
So, earlier you guys were talking about martial arts. Would you ever do a martial art theme burlesque? Kind of like.
We have.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We did our Goku and Vegeta.
Yep.
We did over like
did Ryu
You
in
should,
the full.
Zero did.
Yep.
For the Mulan.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so we actually entered into a competition, and it was here in Houston. It was our very first competition we'd ever entered, and we did Mulan, Make a Man Out of You, and we were decked out in Chinese garbs with staves and the whole 9 yards. And Zero, he trained in China. He trained Kung Fu in China for like 3 or 4 years, and he is like a national champion. And I mean, he's amazing at what he does. And we put together this ridiculous show. It was really very campy, but it had a lot of martial arts. We did a couple of flips. We had staff. We were going at it with each other, and we ended up winning first place on that competition as well. And that led us to doing a circuit all the way around Houston. And that's really what started our burlesque troupe. Was we were able to win this show, and that allowed us to have the opportunity to go from place to place to place and be hired to go do it. And that was really the launch of it. But yes, we have done a martial arts one. And like I said, our next year we're going to have a little bit of that, maybe even with some wires hanging up in the ceiling that fly around like Superman. Because that's what I specialize in. I specialize in making people fly. So, and we're going to have that incorporated. It's just, it takes, like I said, he's out of state right now, so he's out doing another event. And, but yeah, our next one should have something a little bit more intriguing for that.
Is there a particular style that you do when it comes to martial arts? I personally do long fist and capoeira. I know capoeira is not Chinese.
I did.
Still martial arts.
Yeah. We did drunken. We do wushu.
Wing Chun.
Wing Chun. We go. There's Taekwondo. Taekwondo and Hapkido. One of our guys, one of our other stunt guys, is a Taekwondo teacher up at Global Martial Arts up in Spring. We do wushu and Wing Chun over off of East Texas. But that's where I focus on. And I'm not. I know my basics, and I'm proficient, but I have other people that are far better at it, and I let them do what they're good at. I try to find everyone's strengths, and I put them where I believe that they're going to do good, and they do. But I also don't like to jump on anyone else's. If I know that he's going to be able to do a better form than I am, I'm going to let him do that form. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, we do a lot of wushu, Wing Chun, and stuff like that. So, yeah. Next questions. Yes.
Everybody do aerials?
Huh?
Does everybody do aerial work?
Not everybody,
I want to learn.
But let's see here. We've got pole. We've got I do silk and rope. And she can do lira. We've got another girl who does pole. I've got 2 male performers that do chain and that do silk, as well as an aerial cue. I've got one guy that does bungee, which is really interesting. Yeah, he builds his own bungee thing where he can hit the ground and then fly up and do flip. It's really cool. We've got one guy that does bungee. Basically, it's not everyone does it, but we all like to dabble. We're not all Cirque du Soleil skilled at all. Yeah, except for Jordan, who is touring with Cirque du Soleil, and then I have Adam, who is also touring. And things like that. So, luckily with my troupe as well, I've been able to get work for other people and getting them out there. I was able to bring the very first aerialists to Prohibition with the Moonlight Dolls, and I built their stage and all their aerial points and things like that. So, I always try to I don't ever expect any of my performers to stay with me for their life. Like, that's not what this is about. I would love for that to happen, but I also want everyone to succeed. I want them to go bigger and better than I could ever go.
Especially if they get the opportunity.
Yeah, if they have the opportunity, go for it. If I can give them that opportunity, I'm 100% about it. That's why I even started in stunts, is because I was given an opportunity to do it, and now I'm a coordinator for it, and I call up all my buddies and all the people that I know that are interested, and I try to give them the opportunity. But that's what it's all about. This is a stepping stone. We're all performers. We all want to do this for our full-time job, and we're getting there, luckily. Like I said, I have a couple that are already all out on tour. So it's every year something different happens, and we're going with it every year. It's kind of awesome. So yeah, but yeah, we're all learning. We all got our skills in area somewhere. Next question. Yes.
You just mentioned one scenario. Have you ever seen an act where you're just like, I just can't watch this. I'm just scared of it. Like, if it can go wrong, it's like I can't even see it. It's just too intense.
Yeah, that was nerve-wracking. And that was a chain work yeah. So one of my aerialists did chains, and chains are always hard because they're really hard. They're metal, and they pitch really bad. And I had one of my performers dislocate his arm doing a chain performance. It was the very first time I'd ever seen chain. I was not a fan of it. There was fire. Yeah, it was a wonderful day. There was fire going all over the place, and it was that was a nerve-wracking show. But most of the time, we practice doing it so much that we can't be afraid of it. And as the person in charge of the troupe, like, I have to be able to watch the performances, and I have to be able to sit through performances that I wouldn't normally watch, just so I can get an idea of whether or not they're going to be good for my show.
And a lot of times, the stuff that you see that kind of scares regular people, I say regular people, but people who kind of have those fears, it makes us go, wow, how did they do that? It makes it intrigues us more, like to learn, hey, how can this happen?
I would learn how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Or I will learn how to do that. I don't care if you're like 50 feet above the tallest building. I want to see how that's done,
I'm pretty sure that everyone in the condols are slight adrenaline junkies.
Yeah, there is that.
A little bit.
I mean, we're all the type that will literally jump off of a cliff and go dive into some water. We go wakeboarding. We try to do anything and everything that we can to keep us going.
We'll try it once, twice if it hurts the first time.
Yeah, that's generally.
Don't stop till you try it at least 3.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so that's how that works.
It scares the shit out of her.
Sometimes I can't.
Yes.
Keep going on that. Would you guys ever incorporate fire in your performance?
Oh, we have. We have. 100%. I have a fire staff. We have fire bands. We have. But
I don't think that can be done.
it can't be done here because of the fire marshal.
Yeah, they wouldn't even let us use the ball.
Yeah, we couldn't even have the fog machine.
Flushing or anything like that?
Right.
Well, I've worked with the Moonlight Dolls do a really good fire show, as well as the Daves. The Daves have incorporated a couple times. I've seen a few side shows also that do some really good firework. But most of the time when we're doing performances, we just can't bring it in. Even with the right insurances and everything like that, most places like the GRB, like, we have an insurance for it. But even if we have insurance, they won't let us perform, just because the moment that it goes off, it's over. We do. We've been on VH1 performing with fire as well on Love and Hip Hop. So we do like fire. That's one of my favorite things. I'm a fire connoisseur. I've been lit on fire more times than I can count, and I love it. So yeah, if I could, I'd have it here in a heartbeat. But most of our shows we can't do it. So occasionally we'll do Rig Fair and things like that, and we'll bring our fire stuff out so we can play with it there. But when we do shows, unless it's an outside show, we don't generally allow. We can't allow it. So, but yes, we love fire. Fire is good.
Fire good.
Fire good. Next question. Yes.
Hey, I was gonna say on that statement talking about fire. Me and my fiance were just talking about how you would do a really good Axel from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yes! It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Oh, I love Axel too. That hair is just Done. That's gonna be on the next one. That will be on the next one. Y'all gotta remind me on that one.
Great announcement.
You have. I love Kingdom Hearts too, so like that's awesome.
Yeah, third one's gonna be coming out.
Third one's finally coming out after 25 years.
Yeah, finally. You know, it's been long enough. God, I'm turning into an old man growing gray beards over here. Waiting.
Old man stuff.
At least you're not going gray yet.
Not yet.
It's fantastic.
That just looks great.
All right. Next question. Yes.
You said you had a female that went, crazy on stage. Have you had any problems with males?
Oh yeah. We had one male at San Japan like a year or 2 years ago that dropped his trousers. This was for another troupe. I was just coming in to MC. And he straight up dropped his trousers. And like, I mean, one of my performers literally ran up with his shirt and was like,
He had on boxers.
He had boxers, and the button just came right on out. It was just full Monty. And we're all like, and he was up there swinging. And we're like, no. Oh, yeah, so that's happened.
I was like, oh.
That's when we learned really quick.
This man's up on stage helicopter. Just say it.
Yeah. We learned real quick to not allow the audience to strip down because I mean we wear specific underwear, we have specific stuff, costumes for this, so that way we don't fall out and we cover ourselves properly. And not everyone, even if they know they're going to a burlesque show, prepares for that. So we have definitely had that happen. I mean, he was a trooper about it. He was okay. I mean, I think he wanted it. But and it worked out really well. Though he was, and everyone in the audience loved it.
For the 5 seconds he was on stage before we pushed him off.
Because he was off. The moment it happened, he got wrapped. And he just got. Because that thing is dangerous. It's dangerous. All right. Any other questions? Yes.
So in Texas, different states have different things that they will allow. So gentlemen can only go down to like bottoms, and ladies are just knees and bottoms. Ladies can go full.
Yeah, ladies can go full nude actually in Texas. I mean, we won't do it at a show, obviously. But it's cleanliness and a few other things. But it is legal for women to be completely nude. Men, it is illegal for us to show the head of our penis as well as our ass. We can wear a thong as long as it covers. It's very specific.
What a fucking double
show,
standard.
Like 3/4 of the shaft, technically. But I mean, there's specific.
Yeah.
Just a little hat on, and that's good enough, apparently. No, dude, no. No,
I'm kissing my
but yeah, so every state is a little different. In Vegas, I've performed out there, and we can go completely nude out to Vegas.
It's gonna be a sombrero.
I was thinking a little hat and scarf, like frosty.
In Florida, you're allowed to go down. You aren't even allowed to take off your underwear at all, and men are not allowed to have thongs on. Technically, we have to have at least 2 inches of fabric on our backside in Florida. So every state is a little different, and cities inside the state can vary as well. Because I mean, you can go to a hole-in-the-wall bar that will let their performers, basically strip down. It's just technically by law you're not supposed to.
Alcohol, how does that have any effect on what they'll let you do? Because in other places, if they're serving alcohol, they'll only let ladies go down to like pasties.
Yes, no, like every venue has their own personal, like whether it's a bar, it's a venue like a Comic-Con or something like that. I mean, we have been asked from a Comic-Con to not even go down to pasties. We have been asked from a con just to keep a bra and panties on complete, every venue and every event is a little different. That's what it really boils down to. It boils down to preference.
I'm gonna have to wrap up here.
and because we can do whatever they want. We have no problem going down to Pacey's. We have no problem doing this or that. But each venue and each person is different. So, like I said, we've been at a con where we could not go down to our underwear. Like we had to keep, we had to keep like basically you had to keep the bra and panties, and you know you couldn't pull it down, you couldn't hint at it. It was very uptight. But you know, and you take it and go with it. You know, it didn't make our show any worse.
And you stick with your comfort level too. So
Yeah.
if you're up performing and you don't want to go down to Pacey's, do not.
I have a performer that does not ever actually take off her clothes. You know, I have a guy that also is not very comfortable in his skin, so he doesn't take his clothes off, but he sings. So you know, and I'm one that I try to get a very wide selection of entertainment. So and not everyone has to take off their clothes. I mean that's just it's a perk, but it's not mandatory. And we've made shit. We also do kids parties, ironically, where we don't do any stripping at all, but we'll put together. We work for a company called Party Princesses.
Yeah, Houston Party Princess Productions. It's G-rated, but we get dress up as Disney princesses. I've done Belle, also a lot. We've done like superheroes, Flynn Rider, and we just go.
Yeah,
Let me just
and
finish
we've
this
done
question,
Star
and
Wars
I'll
where we
look
go
out.
in with lightsabers and we do a whole lightsaber battle and things like that.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, we are the Kendall's Burlesque. It is a 18 and up show, but we also do other events as well that you know you want to imagine. You know, just because we're out there taking off our clothes, we have other talents. And like I said, we've done Star Wars shows where we've gone balls to just crazy, and we've done flips and battles, and you know we entertain. That's what everyone on my troupe does is they entertain, and that's what we want to do. We don't all just want to take off our clothes for our whole life, but we all do want to entertain in one way or another, whether it's on screen, behind the camera, or it's up on a stage in theater. So you know we all try to stay in that avenue. Bye.